Welcome to the Accountants Club podcast. I'm your host, Paul Redmond, and today we're a slight change in the podcast title from last week. Today we're going to look at a podcast on something that's coming down the line and nobody can stop it, and that's 2025. And we're going to look at how, as accountants, can we actually prepare for 2025. And we're not going to talk about the usual operational ways that we always prepare for 2025. We're going to have a look at a new methodology to see, can we implement this in our own practices and in our own businesses to help us grow and to help us have the best 2025 that's actually possible for ourselves and our families and our business and our clients. A new year brings massively new opportunities, but only if you're ready for them. So in this episode, we're going to cover common challenges practices face at the start of a new year, a fresh strategic approach to 2025 with clarity and purpose, and practical, actionable steps to set your practice up for success. So what's the real problem, and why do we even need to have a conversation about this? So I suppose it's the year-end fog that I talk about this time of the year. And imagine driving on this massively foggy roadway. You're moving forward, but your visibility is limited, making it hard to stay on course. And staying on course is what we're trying to achieve. So it's this year-end fog. So as many practices know, you get stuck in this coming up to the year-end. Decisions are delayed. Planning for the future becomes reactive, rather than proactive. In certain areas, you're looking at coming into a new deadlines. Deadline management is always upon us. There's income tax deadline management now in the UK coming up to us. So all of these particular areas that we're looking at, we need to say, yes, but it's the same every single year. The challenges are the same. We're looking at meeting holiday demands coming up. We're feeling unprepared for the new year. We're feeling a lot of overwhelm. The start of the new year can feel rushed. We're falling behind on the preparation, which means we're at the start of this year, we're playing catch up on last year. This is a result of the lack of intentional planning. This creates the stress and the missed opportunities. Without the clarity, you're more likely to repeat the same patterns and limiting what's possible within this next 12 months ahead. And what we're here to do is we're here to say, stop, breathe, catch your breath, and be really prepared and be intentionally plan what's coming down the line for you, and intentionally make sure that you're not looking at the missed opportunities, because if you don't know what the opportunities are for you, how can you plan to achieve these opportunities? So the clarity is the big word we're looking at here. And the model that we use, that I use myself personally, is the quarterly pivot strategy. So the quarterly pivot looks at, we have 4 years into 1 year, right? We use the quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's one of the main focuses, only one of them, so that we're never too far away from change. And I love the concept of 13 weeks. I think the 13 weeks is an incredibly powerful concept because it's long enough to make huge change. I mean, massive change within your practice in your life, but it's short enough that we're not too far away from being able to relook at everything again and pivot and change. And so it focuses on flexibility. It encourages alignment with what you're trying to achieve by regularly revisiting your objectives, rather than setting annual goals that become irrelevant by the end of January, and a lot of times come irrelevant by the end of week 1. This promotes strategic experiment, and it carves out new ways and new ideas and allows us to actually pivot really, really well. By doing that, we feel a lot more in control, and I think being in control is a really, really big thing of this. So you can just set a theme for each quarter and set a theme under the different headings, like you can have a theme for health, wealth, and relationships. One of the big things that we encourage everybody to do, and we insist that our team do as well as ourselves, we go for a medical at the start of every year. Just a simple thing to do, but it can actually save lives and save my own life. So in terms of that, that's one specific action that you can take. But the thing is, that's not a goal. I put that in and it's now a system. And a system is 100x better if you create the systems long term than creating a goal that's a specific thing to achieve over a specific period of time. So the model is the quarterly pivot strategy, and that's the real thing. Another big thing is theming every year. And having a theme for the year is something that when you look back on and you say to yourself, well, in 2025, we achieved this and we had a team for this and this was done. Because I don't know, when you look back on what you've achieved over the last 5 to 6 years, and yet just 1 week follows into the next week, follows into the month, follows into the year really quickly. And for my own sake, you get to an age where you see January and the next thing you're in December. And maybe that's a little bit with age, but it's also a really big thing to not have something that you can say, yes, we done that in this year. In this year, I gave up smoking. In this year, I lost weight. In this year, my business grew by 20%. And the team is really important. We have a team for renew, refresh, and reinvent. That's the team. And if you look as a metaphor, take your laptop or take your smartphone, every so often you need a software update. And what we're saying to yourselves here, as a practice, you need a software update. You need to refresh what's working, clear out what's not working, and install the new tools for the future. And it's never, ever, ever been more relevant in accountancy than it is now to do a software update and to refresh. As we have talked about on this podcast for a long time, it's really, really relevant. So why renewal is the key for 2025? Because practices grow stale when they rely solely on the old strategies. Refresh your vision, energizes yourself, your team, and builds momentum. And reinventing the processes and the systems helps you stay competitive in this rapidly changing market. So what are the steps and how do we actually go about this? So as accountants, we audit everything we do. We audit ourselves, we audit our operations, we audit our health, we audit our wealth creation strategies, we audit our relationships with ourselves, our team, our clients. In all areas of our lives, we use health, wealth, and relationships. So you could review your app stack, you could look at the AI you're using, you could look at your personal health, your family's health, and you could renew the relationship you have with yourself, which is sometimes can be, as business owners, it's the last place we look is internally at our own side of it. And sometimes it's the most important place to make a change. We can review our customer needs and wants, and we can encourage internal innovation. So this Ideas Day, where employees can pitch ways to improve processes or explore new opportunities, is a big part of renew, refresh, and reinvent, encouraging internal innovation. So what's the action steps that we're looking to take? So imagine setting your North Star. So setting the main theme for the year. You can use, as I said, renew, refresh, and reinvent as the theme for the year, and using that as your North Star. We start to break it down into quarters. We create this New Year preparation checklist. We invest in a fresh perspective for the new year, whether that's hiring a coach, hiring a consultant, doing it ourselves, being part of a group. The core message is preparation doesn't have to be overwhelming. Small strategic steps taken now will add up to massive success into the future, and especially into the new year. When we look back on this year, if I said to you, what would it have to be for 2025 to be the best year you've ever had in your life? So if that was the theme and that was the thing to say to yourselves, and that's different for every single person. Some people just want to pay their bills. Some people just want to be healthy. Some people just want to be well. But make 2025 the best year you've ever had. So how do you do that? You set aside time to plan intentionally. Intentional planning is by the middle of January, by the end of the first 10 days in January, this should be in place. You adopt the quarterly pivot strategy and you refresh everything you have for 2025 to give you energy and confidence. So before we finish up, I'm going to talk about something we're going to be doing in very early January. And on the 9th of January, we're going to be having a webinar for everybody. Practice owners, you can bring your team onto it, you can bring your friends onto it. And this webinar is about, the theme of the webinar is Renew, Refresh and Reinvent for 2025. There will be a charge for the webinar. However, the charge, and it'll be left to yourself. You can give 1 penny, you can give £1, you can give £1,000. I don't really mind. The charge for yourself, every cent that we have will be donated to charity. Every single amount of money comes in here, and we'll decide the charity between ourselves. And this idea came from one of our team members, which was part of an internal innovation. So Rachel, our marketing manager, decided all of this, and I think it's fantastic to give away at the start of the year. And it's a really good thing to kind of create something to help some people that are in need. So you will see a waitlist attached to this. What I would encourage you to do is sign up for the waitlist. As part of the 2025 Renew, Refresh and Reinvent, we will be having along the way before the 9th of January, we'll be having we'll give you a lot of tools to help you start the whole process. We'll have a little booklet that you can use to prepare so that when you come in on the 9th of January, you'll be ready to go out with that day with your own plan. And your own plan will be, here we are and here's the 2025, and we'll decide afterwards what we're going to do. But for the meantime, thank you for tuning in. Please, I'm asking this time, please sign up for the waitlist and join us on the 9th of January. Thank you so much.